I joined the public sector kind of by accident, actually. First in the UK in around 2009. I had moved to London and it was the peak of the credit crunch. It was very difficult to find work, and I took the first job that I could, which was in the National Health Service, a public sector organisation, and really took the opportunity just because it was a job, but soon found that there's an opportunity in the public sector to really make a difference through policy, through leadership, and through service delivery. And so since 2009, I've been in the public sector. I returned to Australia in around 2016 and have been in the Queensland state government since then. I think some of the most important trends or themes in transformation are people-centric. Our human resources are our most valuable, most important resources, and our people are a tremendous asset. And I think any transformation clearly will depend on often technological solutions and process changes, but our people, I think, are absolutely key to leading those changes, implementing those changes, and really adopting and championing those changes as well. I think in order to enable our people to do that, there needs to be a strong leadership, but also skill and capability development to go along with it as well. Some of the recent projects include a human resource capability model. So it's similar to our leadership competencies for Queensland, which provides a framework for leadership competencies. The human resource capability model sets out 11 professional areas for human resource practitioners, as well as behavioural indicators on how we might fulfil and meet those. It's an amazing tool, actually. It's a document that includes those professional areas and behavioural indicators, and not only gives us an opportunity to consider other aspects of human resources that we may not have considered, but also to help us identify where our strengths are and where our potential areas for development are as well. For a long time, internationally, there's been a debate over whether human resources is a profession in its own right, and there's lots of literature around that. And I think the human resource capability model really helps to professionalise human resources as a profession. It highlights the various different aspects of human resources work. And I think if we want human resource practitioners and chief HR officers to have a seat at the table and to contribute to those strategic conversations, then we need to make sure that those skills exist there, and that the pipeline of talent that's, moving towards those strategic levels and those senior executive levels in organisations is well equipped and capable of doing so. In terms of the tools and strategies that we're using, I think stakeholder engagement is a huge one. We don't want to take an approach where we assume that we know all of the answers or that we assume that we know best, and rather we want to take a human-centric approach and really engage with our stakeholders and our service users to understand what their needs are, where their skills and strengths are, where their gaps are, and what resources and capability and learning interventions we can make available to help bridge that gap. So consultation and engagement is a huge part of that. I think sometimes it's as simple as delivering something new and something better and a better way of doing things. Sometimes it's incremental. Maybe it's cultural change, for example, or sometimes it's transformational and sudden. And we've seen the pandemic, I think, is a really good example of a driver of that. I think some of the fantastic innovations that I've seen in learning and development, capability development, include the use of simulation-based learning and technology-enhanced learning for skill acquisition. Often in corporate learning or workplace-based learning, we focus on knowledge, which is important. But if we only focus on the transfer of information and the acquisition of knowledge, then we're only focusing on one element rather than three different elements that we can focus on, which would include skills and hands-on ability and attitude as well. And I think it's the combination of all three of those things that we can often achieve through simulation-based learning and assessment that sets it aside from other more didactic learning interventions. It's been a great opportunity to connect with people in person again in this COVID normal era that we seem to be moving into. What I've really loved as well is hearing a strong focus on trust. We've heard about a crisis of trust in workplaces and organisations internationally, and it's fantastic to hear that theme of trust is being brought to the centre and the forefront, not just in terms of information security and privacy, but also in those organisational relationships between colleagues, between leaders and direct reports and so on.